does that lead, I know one of the things you've been thinking about is about community and place. So tell me how that links in with your thoughts about definitions.
I think...
Well, and control, I think.
I think one of the devices I've used in that area to challenge my own thinking, and I've been writing about, is the difference between an institution that's of a place and for a place.
Go on.
I think if you go to I'm hesitate to over-represent this again in terms of like Manchester. Manchester has a number of great universities, but mostly Manchester University is a university that happens to be in Manchester. Now it has great benefits to the city.
As are probably the majority of universities.
Exactly my point. And they make a contribution, but it's a contribution to the nation, to the world of knowledge, the world. And it has benefit to Manchester, but it's not in any sense, or not in the same sense, for Manchester. It's not driven by the needs of Manchester, the people of Manchester, the skills requirements of Manchester. That they acknowledge them, but it's not the central. Nor should it be, I have to say, in many universities. As I've become aware, sitting inside a Wrestle Group university, there's a really honourable, proper and right view that universities must be disinterested. Or academic autonomy is important, driven by the need to forge new knowledge and to respect academic independence and the ability to speak out in that way. If you start with an institution which is responding to local need in a way in which is much more direct, it's instrumental. And there are bits in there that's not instrumental. It's about developing the young people, the students, and actually having academic integrity. But I think there's a substantial difference between an organisation which is avowedly applied and for, and one that happens to be in that place. So that distinction, I think, becomes important. It also becomes important in taking a different direction about my thinking about technical education. And some of the disagreements I have with some academic colleagues about, is there a boundary between technical professional education and higher education? My fear is many universities with that view of academic independence, many people that work in them, will see it as an anathema to be taking what industry needs and turning it into a curriculum and having their content within their programs significantly determined by what industry needs. That really, for not all universities, for many universities, is a very difficult place to be in.
And interestingly, I think probably some of the more forward-thinking universities are doing exactly that. I was thinking of Chris Husbands, who of course Fettel liaised with to set up your role, and he wants his current university, Sheffield Hallam, to become the world's largest applied university. So I think you could say that that's almost an element of competition, that he sees his university as very much moving into that space.
Yeah, it's interesting that, nobody ever wants to go back to anything. They always want to go forward to that, and I think it's absolutely right. But you could almost say this is the reinvention of the Polytechnic. And that's kind of missing space currently between what many further education colleges do and what many universities is vacated space. And I think Chris is quite properly looking to fill that space. But that will have implications, and I have yet to have a full conversation with him, but I'm really looking forward to talking to him about this, is about what the expectations of his staff are, how they will behave, how they'll present themselves, how they'll work with partners, and how responsive that they will need to be. Now, in Chris doing that's the type of strategic thinking that I've been talking about. He's redefining the purpose of, in a conscious way, a consistent way, and he's going to have to think through all the values associated with that now in order to think it through to conclusion.